What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Football Friday edition. Morning Scone presented by Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and HUDCO Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Hope y'all are having a fantastic start to your Friday. Beautiful weather. What a week it's been. Awesome out here. Feels like fall. You got a little SEC football action this weekend. LSU in Starkville. Looks like the Tigers, though, will not have Derek Stingley. Ogeron saying that Derek Stingley is questionable for the game. It was a re-aggravation of the injury he had during camp. I guess people know this, maybe they don't, but Stingley during camp didn't really practice. Certainly didn't tackle at all. Like, he did nothing, no contact, anything during fall camp. Of course, he didn't participate in the first few scrimmages, as we saw. It's always all in an effort to get him ready to play against UCLA. That's part of the reason why I laugh a little bit when people cracked on him for the missed tackle against UCLA. He hadn't tackled in months. Still an awful play, I get it, but certainly looked better last weekend. But anyway, so it was a re-aggravation of that injury. I can't see him playing. Not just because of the injury, but what he has on the line. I don't think Stingley plays this weekend. I'd be very surprised. But I mean, not only will he not play, I don't even know if he's going to dress. Anyway, I'm going to tell you, man, that's this week in particular, that's really bad. Against Mississippi State. Remember, Stingley did not play last year against Mississippi State. He got sick the night before the game and actually went to the hospital. And so didn't play last year in that opener against Mississippi State. And it showed. Could Stingley have made a difference in that game? I mean, yeah, for sure. So, I'm not saying definitively they win the game if Stingley's out there, but you can't take the best cover corner in college football off the field and think it wouldn't make any type of a difference. But anyway, so unlikely that they have Stingley, and I think it's fair to ask if he's going to be done at LSU. And he might be. He might be done at LSU. And if he is, we can cross that bridge and have that conversation, when that time comes. But my feeling is, he was the best cornerback in college football the year LSU had the greatest season in the history of college football. And for that should be his legacy regardless of what else happened. It's unfortunate that last year he battled injuries. He's battling injuries this year. And people talk and say what they want, but ultimately, he's a young guy. He's a great physical talent. Has a long football future ahead of him, and we'll wait and see what happens here. But it looks like Stingley's not going to be available this weekend. I do think it is fair. I see Andrew asked, does Stingley play for LSU again? I think that's a fair question to ask at this point. Kelly Presley, good morning. Daniel Sinetz, good morning. Brennan Kluka, happy Ryder Cup. I'm not the biggest Ryder Cup guy. I always want to see the U.S. whip foreigners and everything. So if the U.S. wins, that's awesome. But I'm not going to be watching golf this weekend. Let's see. Jenny Landry, Brian and Andy Pinn, good morning from Tuscaloosa. I gave them the LSU salute, not the L. Clark Tiger Davis, good morning. Dale Broussard, who's gone from this team, Stingley or... Oh, first, Stingley or Ogeron. That's tough because I'll tell you what I'm thinking without directly answering your question. I'll just tell you what I'm thinking. I think there's a very real possibility that Stingley opts out. I think I'm not saying that's a definitive. I'm saying that's a real possibility. Um, and if he does, I mean, y'all know my opinion on the matter as well. I think that LSU is likely a 7-5 team this year at best, and if that's where they end up, then I think that's it for Ed. I don't know if there's a point where they would move on from him during the season, so I'm inclined to say, well, obviously, I don't know, Dale. I don't know. William Kimbrough doubts Stingley ever shows on the field again for LSU. Travis Lawrence, Jeff McKithen. Let's see. NCAA needs to do something about opt-out. Schools are guaranteeing full scholarships, yet students doesn't fulfill their commitment. Yeah, William. What about coaches that leave teams before their contract's up? What about students at the university that drop out? Come on, man. Like, that's, I don't mean to be combative, man, but that's such an old man shouting at the clouds opinion. You go to college to find out what you want to do with your life, and the system has been built like this with 100,000 seat stadiums and billion-dollar television contracts and multi-million-dollar coaching deals. That system's been built on the back of free labor. And you can give me any kind of crap you want about, well, they get a scholarship, and they do get a scholarship. And you know what? While they're on campus, they get to go for free. And at any point, if they want to leave. You can't suppress someone's free will. If they have a better opportunity and want to leave, they can leave. I'm sorry if it hurts your football team. Dad, good morning. Charlie Cavell. Denny Landry, who steps up with Stingley. Yeah, Brian, he's not breaking that news. That's an old report. That's a few months old now, as far as the scholarship potentially raising, and the Football Coaches Association recommended it last week. Jonathan Martin, morning Scone. Why hasn't LSU stopped giving their best player the number 7? Because every player since Tyron that's had it, only DJ's had a great season wearing 7. Yeah, look, Jonathan, I think you put a lot of pressure on guys when you give them that, and it's unwarranted and stupid, and I would have rather have seen Stingley be the best 24 in the history of LSU than put 7 on. I'm with you. The jersey thing to me is stupid. 7, 18, to me it's all stupid. Denny Landry, who steps up with Stingley out. Likely Dwight McGlothern is that guy. Rusty said it all. Why players only opt out at LSU? They don't, Rusty. That happens all over college football, especially last year in a COVID year, and it's happened plenty of places before. Was it one of Nick or Joey Bosa? One of them who became the 2nd overall pick in the draft opted out. Look at what happened last year, bro. Micah Parsons from Penn State opted out. Rashad Bateman, the receiver from Minnesota, opted out. I mean, it's not just those guys. Gregory Russo from Miami opted out. I mean, you had 8 guys, I think, that were first rounders that opted out last year. And Stingley hasn't opted out yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does. Tim Gotro, good morning. Joey Vincent, Trivia Carter, what's up? Rap in batches. Definitely leaving work early today. Cliff Nelson, what's up, man? Team Drew, thank you, bro. Jesse Brown, good morning, Matt. How does LSU hold up on the outside without Stingley? Yeah, so I mean, your outside cornerbacks. Obviously Jay Ward's playing safety now, so you're going to look at Elias Ricks as your number 1, and very likely Dwight McGlothern becomes the other guy. They like Cordell Flott in the slot, and then like we mentioned, Jay Ward's been moved to safety. So Ward at safety along with Major Burns back there. They do expect Jay Ward back today. So, if they go dime packages where you have 6 defensive backs on the field, I'll be interested to see who runs out there. Is it another safety? Is it another cover corner? We've seen some of Darren Evans this year. I can't believe he would be the next guy out. Is Ray Jones that guy? Maybe, I don't know, but we'll probably find out this weekend against this team in particular. I wouldn't be opposed to running Mike Jones out there and letting him play that overhang linebacker spot, if he's willing to do it. George Reitmeyer, good morning. what's going on with Chris Hilton. Honestly, man, that caught me by surprise yesterday. Just because I guess, George, you got to keep in mind, man, unless if you ask, a lot of people aren't willing to just volunteer information like that. And, when you have Deion Smith blow up and you get Malik Neighbors back and, just not a top of mind thing. So, Josh Giraldo, Devil's Advocate, during casual conversation, any chance we don't see Stingley on the field anymore? Yeah. Josh, I mean, I don't know if you just got here, but I've mentioned it. That's a fair question to ask. It's a very fair question to ask. Especially if LSU loses again, which could happen tomorrow. And I hate to say it, I think will happen tomorrow. Let's see, 22 watching on YouTube, 12 likes. Please smash that like button. Let's like and share on Facebook. Like and share, like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post. Kirk Taylor, Little Sting not playing again against Moose State, coincidence? No, I mean, yes, it is a coincidence. Obviously, it's a coincidence. It's not because of the opponent. I assure you that. What happened last year was... do you remember the interview that Big Sting did on Off the Bench? Like where he was, after that last year, where he was literally crying. He was like praying, God, don't take my son, that sort of thing. Like what happened to Derek last year before the Mississippi State game was very serious. And that's why a lot of times I think fans who are critical, part of me understands when you can't know what you don't know, but I wish just as adult people, you'd be more rational and understand that there's a lot of stuff that you don't know. And Derek Stingley's still just a 20-year-old. He's 20 years old. He's been put on a pedestal his whole life, and quite honestly, he's not really an alpha. On the field, physically as a talent, he is. But personality-wise, he's not Tyrann Mathieu. He's not Joe Burrow. That's okay. I mean, not everybody is. That's okay. But people kind of expect that because he's such a great player. But I think Derek's the kind of guy who, almost in a way, like, I'll give you this name, not that it's this, I don't even know if this is apples to apples, but like, think about Marshawn Lynch, man. Marshawn Lynch wasn't a leader on the Seahawks. He wasn't a vocal guy. Marshawn Lynch never wanted to do interviews, kind of weird guy. It's kind of, I'm not saying Stingley's weird. I'm saying, Lynch didn't want to do any of that stuff, but like, when you turn on the lights, he was an amazing player, right? Kind of like Stingley. Let's see. Jeb Whitley, been out of the loop. Do we have an Emory update? No update yet. Expecting it today. Honestly, what I was told yesterday is they were expecting good news on both Emory and Trey Bradford today. So now the NCAA is the NCAA, and they can obviously do and they do whatever they want, because there's no organization to check them. But LSU's expecting good news, and the Emory hearing was supposedly yesterday, and they're supposed to get a decision on that today. Let's see. T-Bob just said his high school has produced 3 current NFL starters, so naturally I got to ask how many Catholic High has. Not taking a shot, just a legit question. Clyde is obviously one. I wonder if Clyde's it right now. There was a time a few years back, Gulf South, that Catholic, and then there was a school out of California, had the most of any high school in the country. Catholic had 6 NFL players at the time. It was Catholic and one other school out of California that led it. It was like Travis Minor, I think Work Done might have still been in the league. Chris Williams, who was an offensive lineman who went to Vanderbilt, if you remember, became a first-round pick of the Bears. Donnie Jones. And there was a few, I can't remember. Let's see. Fourth game of the season, don't understand why don't you want to put as much film out as possible, especially after a not so good year. Yeah, Kirk, come on, bro. Like, think about what you just said, man. Derek Stingley is going to be the first cornerback off the board. He's a top 5 pick. He's Jamar Chase. Like, you need to put out film is just silly. I mean, you watched that kid play in 2019, and to say he had a down year last year is just... If 2019 for Derek Stingley was a 9.75 and last year was an 8.95, he still had an incredible year. It just wasn't 2019. Okay, what will ever be again? I don't know. I mean, come on. No, like, Derek Stingley don't need to put out film, bro. Derek Stingley don't need to put on his cleats ever again. Show up at the combine, run a 4.3, jump 40 inches, and he's the 3rd pick of the draft. Damon Hinderberger. Morning, Matt. Like button smashed. How good is State's D-line? Will LSU O-line make these guys look like first-round draft picks? So it's not the line of a few years ago, that's for sure. When they had Chris Jones, who's playing for the Chiefs now, and I mean, super disruptive. That was the 2018 game. Your LSU won that game, but they sloshed around. It was a field goal game. It was like 19-3 or something like that. You know, Fitzgerald was a quarterback. It was in the rain, and Tiger Stadium, they just couldn't move the ball. It's not that line, but the thing about State is, Zach Arnett is their defensive coordinator, and he is very creative with the way he dials up pressure. Now, interestingly enough, State through 3 games has only 6 sacks, and they've allowed 6 sacks. So, both lines have been pretty good. I think, I'm just, guys, the more I look at this game, Mike Leach against Darante Jones is a gigantic mismatch. And now you're taking Stingley off the field. State is going to score, y'all. Like, I don't think, the total I think is 55. I don't think this is a game in the 20s, like some people are saying. I think this is a game that, I'm not saying it's going to be last year, but I think it's going to more closely resemble last year. I think this is a game that gets up into the 30s. I think LSU's going to need to score in the 30s to win, maybe even in the 40s. So, see if they can. Tim Gotro, if a player opts out, is a scholarship immediately available for a non-scholarship player? Don't care if they decide not to play anymore, but go to the non-scholarship on the roster. Yes, Tim, it is. You have the 85-man scholarship limit, but I'll tell you right now, Tim, and this is one of the reasons why the Coaches Association is recommending allowing over-signing by 7 to replace man for man with transfers, because even though you have 85 scholarships, like, because of the transfer portal, LSU does not have 85 scholarship players on the roster. They could give out scholarships to the walk-ons, yes, but you can't bring in another. That's the problem, right? You're capped at 25, at an initial 25 that you could have in a signing class. Well, once you hit that 25, you can't sign anymore. Well, if you have more guys leave for graduation, draft, opt-out, medical, transfer portal, whatever, like, there was a point last year where LSU was playing with COVID, so LSU was playing with 53 guys, something like that. I think right now the number is in the upper 70s, what they have. Like, so even if someone opted out and left, you could certainly give that scholarship to a walk-on, but that, I don't think that's necessarily what you're asking. Like, you can't bring in another transfer. That's why they need to approve this rule. Jeb Whitley, what's up, Eric? Can't believe I'm making this comparison. The last 2 years of Sting, it felt like Davenport, all the talent, but seems to have some kind of injury fare. The difference is Stingley's been on the field. People don't know this, but Stingley played through an injury all of last year. And I commend him for getting out there when he didn't need to in a crappy season where there was immense dissension and COVID and all the stupidity of a year ago, and he got out there and played. I think he played 7 games, 7 of the 10. Davenport just isn't out there. Mark Allen, this would be a good test for next year without Stingley. Yeah, Mark. I mean, look, I think Elias Ricks is fantastic. I think Dwight McGlothern, I think he was the big surprise standout of a year ago. They were thrilled with the way Dwight McGlothern played a year ago. So he's not Derek Stingley, but can Ricks be Stingley and McGlothern be Ricks? I mean, I think you take a step back in each of those spots, but you could still be good enough to go out and compete at a high SEC level. Mark Allen, 47-43 LSU. I hope LSU can. The problem, Mark, is I don't think LSU can score 47. I think State could very well score 43. I don't think LSU can score 47. Jesse Brown, Matt, Saints are much healthier this week. Hope we can get a win on Sunday. Yeah, Jesse. Let's see the injury report today. I'm going to give you picks on AFR today. And look, I mean, I told you they beat the Packers and lose to Carolina. So, I mean, I'm 2 for 2. I do have a way I'm leaning on this one on Sunday. So, talk about that on AFR today. Let's see, Matt, if Miami, USC, and LSU are all looking for coaches, Woodward still gets us a top dog candidate, don't you think? He seems like an awesome AD. Yeah, I mean, look what he's done already. I mean, from Jay Johnson in baseball, he went and got Kim Mulkey for women's basketball. The soccer coach he hired has them top 10 right now. He just knows what he's looking for. He's a good identifier of coaching talent. He knows what skill set he's looking for. And then whenever he's going to swing for the fences, because he has the resources to do that, to go after a Kim Mulkey, and he can put those pieces in place, and you take your shot. And if you connect like you did with Kim, great. If you miss like with O'Sullivan, okay. Then you move on through the process, and you interview candidates, and you find the best one, like you did with Jay Johnson. So yeah, look, if LSU's hiring a new football coach, and I think they will be, I completely trust Scott Woodward to go make it happen. Let's see, Gulf South, what time you plan to do morning Scone with 11 a.m. kick? So good question, man. I will be on air with Jeremy Hill at 7 a.m. for Eagle 98.1 game day. So I think I did this a couple times last year. I think Missouri was an 11 a.m. game. So I think I just fired up morning Scone and then just talked to y'all in the break. I just left it on while we were doing Eagle game day. Just talked in the break. So maybe we'll do that. So it'll be a more abbreviated morning Scone tomorrow. Travis Laurent, GME, took a little dip this morning. Give me some more. I don't know if you saw what happened last night. It spiked last night. Someone put in, there was like a $55,000 buy and then like a $35,000 buy. So there's 2 big giant green candles. So someone must have woke up this morning, seen the spike, and then bought, or sold rather. So, but yeah, man, get it. It's coming. Alan Hurd, good morning. Great show with RC. Need to get him on as a guest on Nightcaps. Yeah, I don't think that's happening, man. Stephen Miller, good morning. Brian and Andy Penton. Let's see. McCarthy's out for the Panthers. McCaffrey, yeah. They certainly looked... here's the thing I'll say about Carolina. Oh, God, it's 7:50. I got to go. I'll go real quick. Carolina has so far beaten a bad Jets team, a depleted Saints team, and a bad Texans team. I still need to see what they are. Dale Broussard looks like Stingley deleted his Twitter, doesn't want to see comments when he bails on his team. He's not bailing on the team, Dale. Like, come on. Dale, like, let's be adults here, okay? I'm gonna be very real with you. Like, anybody who talks bleep about a 20-year-old who has faced pressure unlike any of us have ever known and has so much ahead of him, like, I just ain't gonna handle that, bro. Like, y'all know me, like, y'all have been here enough, like, I am not gonna be the guy that sits here and lets people just absolutely defecate on a 20-year-old. Like, be an adult. Scott Salvage, good morning. What are LSU stats on morning games? I don't know, Scott. That's a Todd Politz's question. Bill Schmid, Matt Godwin, Ray Slocum, good morning. Sean Comiskey, boom, Matt. Very good. People have no idea. It's true. Look, I mean, and I'm not trying to come down and criticize anyone. Like, what I am asking you to do is try to have some perspective as an adult. That's all I'm asking. Try to have some perspective as an adult of what it would have been like for you as a 20-year-old to have everybody know your name, to have NFL riches a few months away, to have mountains of criticism while you're trying to play through an injury. Like, what, and pressure from your family as well, by the way. Like, that's a lot for anybody. Now think of it as a 20-year-old. Perspective, y'all. Come on. Did y'all crap on Jamar Chase for opting out last year? And Stingley hasn't even opted out. It wouldn't surprise me if it happens, though. And if it does, salute him, because he was a gigantic part of the greatest season in LSU history. A lot of y'all crapped on Tyrann Mathieu when he got kicked off the team. Why couldn't he stop smoking weed? Dude had a problem. And salute him for getting it right. Like, support young people. Don't crap on them. Anyway, I gotta get going, y'all. Mark Allen, whiskey at 7 a.m. You talk, I drink. Nicholas Cantrell, good morning. Kurt, Matt, you need to look at ASU's uniforms they're wearing Saturday. I think you would appreciate it. Okay, I will. Tramal Kellup, LSU's tired of Big O already. Jeffrey Parrott, morning Scone. Is the game similar to LSU Auburn where Les got fired after it? Jeffrey, depending on how it goes, it wouldn't surprise me. But I don't think that would happen. Had they lost last week to Central Michigan, it might have been a real possibility. But it would really depend how tomorrow goes. But I don't think so. Okay, y'all, I got to go. Got to get Drew to school. Actually going to see Crystal Poche here at 9:30 this morning. Restored Motions. Anyway, y'all have a great day. Locked on LSU coming up probably around lunchtime. AFR at 3. If you haven't yet subscribed to the Scone and Tea podcast, we appreciate that as well. And all right, guys, we'll see y'all later. As always, shout out to Brock and Hudco, tagged in the post. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you.